All right, so what's number 15? So 14 says y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. All right, so we need to complete the square so we can write this in vertex form first. All right, so just like the other one that I showed, you're going to hold on to the x squared and the minus 2x. You're going to push your minus 3 off and hold on to it. All right, so if I take half of this term right here, I get 1. So when I square that, I still get 1. So I'm going to add 1, which means I'm also going to subtract 1. Right, that's the completing the square part. Right. So again, that part that I used for my balance and my constant will create a k value. And so right now I've got my vertex form of my equation is going to be y equals x minus 1 squared minus 4. Now I believe you have some different lines, some fill in the blanks that we need to do. And one of them is to actually identify the vertex itself. And that's the coordinate 1, negative 4. And then you've got your line of symmetry, which is at x equals 1. And I'm going to hold off for a second on the x-intercepts and the y-intercept. We're going to fill those blanks in, but I want to show you some things first. So let's make a little table so we can make a graph. And you can do it off to the side or you can do it at the bottom of your paper. But to all the y values, or sorry, all the x values, I need to add 1, and all the y values I'm going to subtract off 4. And I'm going to try to give myself enough space to actually do all of it. So those 3 normal ones in the middle, where x is minus 1, 0, and positive 1. I'm going to take these current values as my input outputs and then do my shift. All right, so I'm going to add 1 to all of my x values. And I'm going to subtract 4 from all of my y values. And my middle one is still my vertex. And so you want to make sure that that matches and that on the y values on opposite sides are the same value when you move outwardly. So when you make your graph, you don't have to worry about making the x or y axis on your paper because you have the graph. But we want to plot all 3 of these points. I didn't give myself enough space. All right, that's fine. All right, so like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yours has more, but I'm going to just try with this and see if I need any more than this. All right, so I'm going to plot the 0, negative 3, which is right here. And then 1, negative 4, and 2, negative 3. Now, because my graph is so small down there, I do need more coordinates than just these 3. So I told you, you're going to start with those 3, but then if you can fit more on your graph, you need to. The other thing is that the other 2 fill in the blanks are asking you for x and y intercepts. Now this one coordinate right here where it's touching the y-axis, that is your y-intercept. So this 0, negative 3 I'm going to fill in the blank because I found it when I started plotting some points. Your x-intercepts, though, I'm going to actually find those, and I'm going to use those to make more coordinates on my graph since I have to find them anyway. So instead of expanding out my chart and doing more points that way, I'm going to show you how to find x-intercepts algebraically. All right, so that means that when you have your y value is equal to 0 and you solve for x, that's how you find x-intercepts. You probably have enough space where we did the vertex form to do this. So in the original equation, you're going to set it equal to 0. And now you need to go back to first term material and factor and solve by factoring. So you're looking for the product of two numbers to be -3. That adds up to be -2. All right, so your binomials look like -3 and +1. And that means that the two x values that I have are going to be 3 and -1. And so what this has done is it's giving you the two other coordinates of where you touch the x-axis. All right, this is my y value. So when y was 0, x is 3. When y is 0, x is -1. But I'm going to write those as coordinates like I did over here. So the x value and the y value, x and y. So you need to write those two coordinates that you get, or those two values for x you get as actual coordinates. And then you can use them on your graph, which actually would have been the next two on the chart. So now I can make my graph go through. And so this is what number 14 should look like.